Okay, and if you want to fill the data, we need to use merge. For fill the data, we need to use the merge and delete and set commands. So all of them you cannot use in one single file. So at a time you can use merge or delete or set. Okay, so you cannot use these three in one single file. Okay, these things you have to remember. And one file we will have. Okay, we may have one metadata or multiple metadatas. One file we will have one metadata or we will have one metadata or multiple metadatas available. So in which case multiple metadatas available? If you have a parent and child relationship, then we will have a multiple metadatas. If we have a parent and child relationship, then we will have a multiple metadatas. Okay, understand or not? Okay. So one file will have one metadata or multiple metadatas. Okay. So one metadata means single table or single data source. Okay. Multiple metadatas means parent and child relationship. So parent and child relationship, I told you, right? We have a parent table, department, and employee table is a child. So those kind of hierarchical data, if you want to do, then we'll go for the multiple metadatas. How we know that one business object? How we know that one business object? How we know that one BO we have one metadata or multiple metadatas, guys? One metadata or multiple metadatas. How we know that one BO we have one metadata or multiple metadatas? 39 instance. So if you look at this one, my client group data exchange. My client group data exchange. If you go to the view business object, go to the business object. Let's say, for example, it is job. Check the job business object. So job business object, we have a job with the parent metadata. So these are the childs. So these are the childs. And if you look at this one, job family, we have only one metadata available. Like this. And if you see the worker, we have multiple metadatas available around 12, 15 is there. So this is the parent and this is the childs. Understand or not? Okay. So we have to understand one more topic in the HCM data loader. that is called keys. So what is the purpose of keys? We have a types of keys available. Types of keys. Yeah. Source keys, source keys, user source keys, surrogate key, source key, surrogate key, user key, GUID. In the source keys, we have source system ID, source system owner. Source keys we have source system ID and source system owner. So what is the purpose of these keys? First I will explain about the keys, then I will explain about this 4 types. First I will explain in the database level. Just a minute. SQL developer. Another administrator. So, okay. Okay. Let's start from employee table. So this is the data, right? So this is the data. For example, I want to update uh, first name. Okay, first name. Okay. For example, I want to update Okay, job ID is IT programming. So I want to update the job ID is IT program place. Okay. So job ID IT programming, IT PROG place. I want to update IT programming. Understand or not? Otherwise, you can say one. I think we can say one more thing. Okay. So if the department ID 90, okay. Otherwise, if you see department ID 60, I want to update the job ID is different name. This one. Okay. If the department ID is 60, update the job ID. If the department ID is 60, update the job ID as IT program. So here what you will do, how you write the update statement, update table name, update table name, set job underscore ID equal to IT programming, update table name, set job ID equal to IT programming, where
Department number is equal to 60.
department
ID.
ID equal to 60. So here I want to update only specific records I want to update. I don't want, for example, if I am not writing the where condition, what will happen? Tell me. If I run this query, what will happen?
All the job
Total job ID will be IT programming.
Total job IDs will be IT programming, correct? But if I put like this, what will happen?
Only for that ID it will update.
Where department ID has 60, it will change the job ID into IT programming.
Yeah, correct. So that means this is called keys. So here department ID is the key. Here department ID is the key. Only specific records I want to update. So without passing this key, can you update only specific records?
No.
So that is what this key is. Okay, now run this one. Oh, so in the job ID, okay, maybe it is data size is very less. That is the reason it is coming. Okay, so instead of IT programming, so I want to update IT. Yes. Okay, now run this one. What will happen? It will update.
Employee spelling mistake ఉన్నట్టు HR.employee.
That is correct only. Oh, so maybe it is linking with other table. That is the reason it is coming. So because this is linked with the other table, manager department ID is linked with other table. That is the reason it is coming like that. Okay, we will see different requirement. $60 the department ID. Instead of job ID, we can update the salary. Instead of the job ID, this job ID linked with the other table. That is the reason we are getting there. So we'll update the salary. If the department ID is 60, salary should be 9,000. Then what you will do here? Salary is 9th. Understand it? 9. See, 5 rows updated. So now in this case, this is called key. So this is the data we are updating. For example, you loaded the 100 records. For example, you loaded 100 records. But I want to update only 5 records. So first you loaded 100 records, that is successfully loaded in the HCM. And then I want to update only 5 records. I want to update only 5 records. Then how we can update only 5 records? Okay, so that will be taken care by these keys. So same way, so I want to update only department ID related data only. Specific records I want to update. So here key is the indicator. So key will guide you. So which records you want to update from the 100 records. So which 5 records you want to update. So that is called keys. So not only for updation purpose. If you want to delete some data based on the keys. So that also will be taken care by keys. So delete some records. You know, if you do the commit operation, after update you need to do the commit operation. So now you will see department ID 60, Charlie should be 5,000. Charlie should be 9,000. Understand or not? Same way, I would like to delete there is no, for example, there is no department data for 60 records. For 60 department ID, there is no employees. So maybe this department not required. So this department not required. So this department not required in our company. So then what you will do is I want to delete only for 60 department. I don't require in my company. So then what you will do? Delete. Where? So with this, what will happen, guys? Only department ID related 60 records only will be removed in the table. Understand or not? Hello. Only specific records I want to delete. Only specific records I want to update. For example, you have a multiple records are there. Right? For example, if you see the count, we have 107 rows are there. So only specific records I want to update. Specific records I want to delete. So we need to pass the keys, right? So that keys we have to call it this source keys, surrogate key, and user ID, user key and GUID. So you may ask question here, sir, you are passing, we are only one key, right? But here, why we have this many types of keys are there? Why we have this many types of keys are there? So why we have this many types of keys? Because based on the requirement, we will use these keys. Source keys, source system ID and source system owner name. This information you will get from legacy system. That means, for example, you are loading the data from the Tally, then source system owner is Tally. So every record, it will maintain one unique ID. That unique ID will give by legacy system. So you know, right, what I mean by legacy system, or do you want me to explain once again what I mean by legacy system? Legacy system means
old systems are old software.
Old system or old software. Okay, so legacy system will give every record as one unique ID. So if you look at this one, in this all employee records, one of the values should be unique. What is the one of the value unique? Anyone can guess here? If you see here,
Employee
one of
ID.
the
Employee ID.
employee ID, the unique. So this is called primary key. Huh? So I would like to update employee ID wise. So if the source system people will give the source system ID and source system one. So this information they may give or not. This information you will get from the legacy system. So this information you may get or not. If they give, then source system owner wise you can update the data. Source system ID wise you can update the data. So some cases they may or they may not give. They will not give to us. Then we need to use the surrogate key. Surrogate key is the primary key of your business object. Primary key of your business object. You know, right, what is the primary key? In SQL, you might have explained, right? So surrogate key is the primary key of your business object. So what do you mean by primary key? Every table, every table, not every table, I can say, table will have a primary key. So that means every that columns should not be not null. That column should not be not null. Understand or not? So that means it will be maintain a unique value for every record. For example, employee ID the primary key of this employee table. So employee ID should be unique and employee ID should not be a not null. That is called primary key. Okay, so this data will be maintained in our business object, but this data will not be maintained by business object. So you all know right what is meant by business object. Yesterday we discussed. So you may ask question how we know that in particular business object, so which is primary key? Which is primary key? If you take the job business object, worker business object, worker business object. So any business object you can take. So one surrogate key will be there. How you know that which business object? So how you know that which business object will be taken? Which business object contains which surrogate key? So for that, you go to, for example, if you see the job business object, job business object attributes, the job ID, the surrogate key, and this value. So I told you right, every business object behind that, what I told you yesterday, every business object front end screen will be there, and one more is there. What is that one more? Every business object front end screen will be there, and one more is
Back
there.
table. Backend.
Back end table also will be there. So that means this surrogate ID should match backend table primary key value. How you know that? If you go to OER, Vision Apps OER, Vision Apps OER, so go to cloud application, tables and use for HCM. Tables and use for HCM. Tables and use for HCM 25. So if you look at this one, global human resource, you search here. r underscore jobs. Here, what is the job ID? The surrogate key. Here also primary key value should match. For jobs. So here job ID is the primary key. See here. Did you understand or not now? So this business object surrogate ID, backend table column ID, primary key value should match. So that is called surrogate key. Same like as here employee ID, the surrogate key. Here in our case, jobs table job ID is the primary key or surrogate key. Understand or not? So based on the requirement, so sometimes source system people will not give source system ID and source system owner. So that time we will go for the surrogate key to update the data and to delete the data. If they give, then we can use the source system ID and source system owner. If they not give, then we will use this one. So why we have this many keys? So they have given alternative options to update and delete the data. So based on the requirement, so you can use sometimes source keys, sometimes surrogate key to update the data and delete the data. But these source keys will not be maintained in the business object. Source keys, the source system ID and source system owner will not be there in the Fusion tables. Here, if you look at this one, you will not able to see this one. Okay. Okay. So now we have front end values. For example, you have a job code, set code. So these are all the user keys. So this job ID will not be there in the front end. Sometime you need to update the data based on the front end values. That time we will use the user key to update the data. So example, so what is the user key for the job code and set code? These two will be there in the front end. But job ID will not be there in the front end. How you know that these two will be there in the front end? If you look at the job screen, go to the job screen, dev.39. One minute, guys. Okay. So if you look at this one, so this key is little bit tricky to understand, guys, but practically we'll see. Don't worry. Huh? Set up and manage job. Okay, here the job. Here if you see job code and set code, job ID you will not see right here. So primary key values you will not see in the front end. Primary key values you will not see in the front end. So user keys you will see in the front end. So sometimes you based on the user keys I would like to update. Based on the front end values I want to update. So if you see the primary key, each and every, for example, group of records I want to update. So that time we will go for the user keys. Single record you want to update, then we'll go for the primary key or source system ID. Understand or not? Source keys, surrogate key, user key. GUID. So GUID means it is a hexadecimal value. So it will not be stored anywhere in business object. Okay, so it is unique hexadecimal value. It is unique value. It is unique value for every record. It will be maintained in keys table. Keys table. Okay. So what will happen is, guys, other than source system ID, surrogate key. So when you create the record in HCM tables, it will be create one GUID for every record. So that is the unique value. So that will be maintained in the keys table. So we have one more table called keys table. So that is called HRC integration underscore key underscore map table. HRC integration key map table. So whatever the source keys are there, whatever the surrogate keys are there, so whatever the GUID there, so this information will be stored into this table. That means, so when we load the data into HCM cloud for that business object, so job business object or worker business object, so that keys information will be maintained one table called HRC integration key map. Okay, so by using this keys only, we are going to update and delete the data in the future purpose. So how many types are there keys? Source keys, surrogate key, user key, and GUID. So the more I will explain when we start the practical example, you just understand the concept here, keys, the purpose of the keys. Any question you can ask me?
So what is HDL, Vamsi? HDL.
Okay. So guys, yesterday I explained everything. Do you want me to just recap everything, or I can recap HDL and everything? So because someone is asking what is HDL. So yesterday I explained the complete class for HDL. So do you want to repeat anything?
No, I got it. No, sir, but explain a little bit about keys, sir. I mean, like, like little bit, what is what?
Okay. So just I will give the idea about the HDL. The HDL is the tool, because yesterday I explained the Mohan. I'm just giving the recap. HDL is the tool where we can load the data into HCM cloud. HDL is the tool where we can load the data into HCM cloud. So by using this tool, we can load the data into HCM cloud. So when I say HCM cloud, so you can say employee, job, grade, salaries. So legacy system people will give the data in this format, and then we are loading the data to HCM cloud using this tool. Okay.
Similar to SQL loader?
SQL loader, we are writing some programming right here. Everything will be front end.
Okay, but the functionality is same, right?
Functionality is same, yeah, correct.
Okay.
So by using this tool, we can load the data into HCM cloud tables. So it will store the data into table as well as the front end. Okay. So regarding the keys, so by using these keys, if you want to update, delete the data, multiple ways they have given. So what are the multiple ways? Source keys, surrogate key, user key, and GUID. Source keys you can get from the legacy system, or you may or may not get from the legacy system. If they give, then we can update using these keys. Surrogate key is the primary key of your business object. How you know that which column is the primary key of your business object? So by seeing this only you can come to know. So here job ID is the primary key for the job business object. Okay, and so what is the surrogate key for the business object? I told you, right? You can see in the view business objects. You go to the my client group, data exchange, view business object. So if you search here, job, so in the job business object, go to the attributes. So job ID is the primary key.
Surrogate ID, surrogate key and primary key are same, right?
Both are same. Surrogate key or surrogate ID, surrogate key, both are same. Both are same. So some columns are front-end values. So job code, set code, these are all front-end values. How you know that which business object have a user keys are there? Or which columns are the user keys for that business object? So for example, if you see job business object, job code and set code is the user keys. And if you see worker business object, in the worker business object, so in the worker business object, we have attributes. The person ID is the surrogate key, person number is the user key. So like that, every business object, user keys and surrogate keys, you can able to see in the your business objects list. And this source system keys will not be there in the business object table. For example, job business object having one table called per job self. So this table will not be maintained. This table will not be maintained primary key values. Sorry, source keys values. Source keys values, GUID values, surrogate key values will be maintained in the table called HRC integration key map table. So the more I will explain about these keys practically when we see the practical examples. So just you see the definitions, guys. I have given overview, but at least 50% if you understand, that is fine. We will see the practically how you can use the keys to update the data and delete the data. So now,
I mean, like primary key is the unique value. Is there any specification for the user key like that?
specification is not there. Something like you can say one job code, I want to update the data. For example, job code is a Oracle job code. So for that Oracle job code, I want to update some data. Java job code is there. Java job code, I want to update some data. So that is called job code and set code. Same like I updated the department. For the department 60, I updated 4 records, right? 5 records I updated. One job code, we have multiple, one set code, we have multiple jobs are there. So that set code related jobs I want to update. So then you can pass the user keys. So those keys you will get the information when they tell the requirement, they will tell you that. So the more you will understand, guys, don't worry. Okay. Theoretically, I'm explaining you. Practically, I have not shown anything. Tomorrow, I will start the practical example. So now, let's say, okay. So we need to understand one more topic called import and load. When we run the program, when we run the HDL program, we have 2 options available. 2 options available. One is import and another one is import and load. Import and load. First, you understand import and load. Import means first it will load the data to staging table. Load means it will load the data to base tables. So the flow should be like this, guys. First data file will be there, DAT file. Then it will load the data into staging table. Then it will load the data into base tables. DAT file, staging table, and base tables. So whatever the data file is there, the data file first it will load into staging table. So from the staging table, it will load the data into base tables. So you may understand the concept called staging table and base table. Staging table, it will validate whether the structure of the file correct or not. It will validate whether the structure of the file correct or not. So what do you mean by structure of the file correct or not? What do you mean by structure?
Required fields there or not?
So I'll tell you. Yesterday we have done right. What do you mean by structure of the file correct or not? Structure means, for example, metadata is there. So maybe by mistake here this is removed. Maybe this extra came while you fill the data in the copy paste. Some extra pipe symbol came. Maybe in the column name spelling mistake is there. Maybe in the copy paste some spelling mistake is there. Okay, and you are using the commands, right? Merge command, delete command, something, right? While you use the merge command, maybe the spelling mistake is there. Merge, maybe delete spelling mistake is there. Something, the structure of the file correct or not? The structure of the file and structure of the data correct, then only it will load into staging table. This staging table is same for staging table is same for every business object. Staging table is same for every business object. Staging table is same for every business object, but that means first when we have a data file, so the data file first it will load into staging table. So when it will load, if the structure of the file correct, structure of the columns and data correct, then it will load into here. From the staging table, it will load into base tables. Okay, base tables example for job case, for job business object case. So this is the base table for jobs underscore F with the base table. So base tables, it will finally store the data. Finally store the data into. It will finally store the data. It will finally store the data. That is called base tables. So example, job business object. We have base table name is per jobs F. If it is worker business object, base table name is different. So every business object, base table names are different. Every business object base table names are different. Worker business object. Worker business object. We have base table name is bar underscore r underscore parameter underscore. So our main goal is from the DAT file, staging table, it will store the data first by using the import. Then after that, we need to use the load command to load the load option to load the data into base table. So DAT file, you cannot directly load into base table. So DAT file directly you cannot load into base table. DAT file first it will load into staging. From the staging it will load into base tables. So that is the process we need to follow. Understand or not, guys? So you cannot do how whichever the way you want to upload the data. That is not possible. You need to follow the proper way which Oracle has given the guidelines. So we need to follow that guidelines. Understand, guys, what is meant by import, what is meant by load, and what is meant by base table, and what is meant by staging table. So staging table is same for every business object. Staging table is same for every business object. But you definitely will ask this question to me. Sir, if it is same, for example, if the job business object columns are different, worker business object columns are different, right? Correct or not? Job business object columns and worker business objects columns same or different? Different or same? Different, right? So it will be that is the reason I'm telling you, staging table will be maintained only structure. So either the skeleton of the data file. So anyway, the staging table, how it will be, I will show you at the time of running. So definitely you may have a question on that staging table and base tables. Why staging table should not be same for every business object, right? So, but it will be maintained only structure of the file. It will be validated only structure of the file. So what structure it will be maintained? So that we will see at the time of practically if I show that time you will understand. Stopping for today. Tomorrow I will continue, guys. Same time.